Just gonna leave this right there. Are we good? All right, what are we doing now?
All right, I'm gonna have you see. Again, did you start? Because I need to send them this picture.
No, do what you gotta do. You want to have a seat again?
Yeah, have a seat, please,
Another
sir. I'm like, ah. Sorry.
It's okay. It shouldn't be this hard. I know.
Yeah, have a seat.
Tell me all about it.
So you're gonna look here. I'll have you look here, so I can get the photo.
Yep.
Send it off.
Yep.
And we'll be done. I mean,
we'll be on our way, right?
Yeah.
Well, we should be on our way.
Why am I not here? It's like impossible to get a photo of this because
is light good enough for you?
light? Lighting's good, yeah. I'm just want to shoot your hand.
You're sending her a picture right now?
Yeah, I just said.
While you do that, I'm going to go cut down my water.
Okay, sounds good.
Right
But
back.
yeah, this is not. Oh, I'm so
You know
sorry.
something.
Still waiting. Still sending.
You need a Wi-Fi?
I mean, it's maybe.
It's on a regular. Is it on a regular data system?
Yeah.
See if you can scan for a network called what's it called? New World Order.
Yeah.
Password is
Do you want to? Is that fine? Do you want to? Yeah.
Still waiting?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on.
They're running out of time. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back and looked at every video like I said. He said every video, pull every video. Oh yeah, he does have the glasses.
No, I'm thinking we just do it.
That's what I'm thinking. That way you've got something. If she calls and interrupts, okay. But you ran out of time. So this is what I got.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, so what are we gonna do first? Completely different video. You know what I mean? You get the water out.
No, it's not in. Water's not in. It's pretty tight shot of you. Okay. So I'm gonna hit record.
All right. What are we gonna do? We got the mic right here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So remember, we're gonna look over there. I'm actually gonna, once we start rolling,
stand over there.
I'm gonna stand over there.
Right. Before this, got the green screen. You need a sound check?
No, I got it. We're good. I'm just trying to figure out why. Hello? Okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
Are they happy now?
Yeah.
Good. Take a swig so I can talk to you. Alright, I'm straight. Go to work.
All right. Why do you think movements such as NFAC and Black Panthers are important?
Well, you asked a two-part question. When you answered the question of why the Black Panthers were necessary, because there needed to be an answer at the time to what was going on with their neighborhood and police brutality and unemployment, things of that nature. So the Panthers filled more than just the need to be defensive. They filled the needs of the community at that time. That was a turbulent time. It was a time when civil rights were brand new, and it was a time when some folks just didn't get the message about Jim Crow. Now here we are in 2020, and what we're seeing is what looks like a reflection of the same of systems, the same types of crimes, the same excuses. We're starting to see a systematic recreation of what existed in the 60s. So therefore, NFAC is the direct result of that. NFAC is the response to the lack of response of the United States to put an end to something that appears to be part of the culture for almost the last 150 some odd years since we supposedly freed as slaves.
How is NFAC decrypted?
Rephrase the question.
I'm just reading what they gave me. Decrypted. So I'm trying to figure out what that means.
Do they want to know what it stands for?
No, that's the next question.
Well, when they say decrypted, I can take that a number of ways. Do they want to know the inner workings of how we're structured? Because I'm not going to tell you. We don't give out that information.
Okay. I think we'll just move on. Because I don't really know what and it's starting to rain.
Is it really raining?
Uh-huh.
You know, they say when I was growing up that when it was raining and the sun was shining, it said the devil was beating his wife. These are the kids. I used to always wonder who would marry the devil. There's this one rain cloud passing over it. One lone cloud. I don't know who drove it, but it's right here. It's right above us. Let's keep going. If it ain't raining,
Right.
It ain't training. Let's go. I want to get this done.
What does NFAC mean?
It's not what it means. It's what it stands for. And I'm not sure if you can use profanity on here, so I'm going to make it clean. This is the Not Effing Around Coalition. And that reflects our attitude. We're not effing around anymore with any of these systems or any of the circumstances that we're being forced to live under, yet we're supposed to consider ourselves citizens of the United States.
why do you march in black uniforms?
Because that's what we chose. Nobody asked the United States why they wear what they wear. Nobody asked the Russian army why they wear what they wear. Nobody goes down to China and asks the premier, why do you wear what they wear? Because that's what we chose. It is our right to present ourselves in a uniform, organized fashion. And that satisfies that requirement.
Absolutely.
A lot of us being military-minded people, we're used to discipline and order.
So there's no significant meaning?
People can read into it any way they want. We're black people. Can you imagine if we all showed up wearing white? Doesn't that sound familiar? Come on, man.
Yeah, all right. Why do you guys carry weapons?
Because it's our constitutional right. That's why. Nobody asked the other folks why they carry weapons. So why are you asking us? It's in the Constitution. If you got a problem with that, don't talk to us. Talk to the United States Congress.
What do the green wristbands mean?
The green wristbands at the time were a way for us to put a safeguard in place that everyone who is actually going to be participating in one of our formations, since we come from so many different places, we had to put a standard in place for safety, meaning first, you were going to be ID'd. So we can make sure you're you. And that two, if you have any type of a carry, conceal, or weapons permit, to have proof of that with you, because every one of us is legally licensed. So from that point, then you have to sign some paperwork, an indemnity clause that if you accidentally shoot somebody, you can't turn around and blame us because you didn't follow instructions. And then after that, you're cleared to join our formation. The green band identifies who's in our formation and who's not. That way, if someone dresses like us and they're in the crowd and they decide to do something stupid and they get grabbed, you can't say NFAC did it. No, because we have paperwork on every individual who's in our formation, and this is what they would have had on their arm, and this is their paperwork. We're very thorough.
Very good. What kind of weapons do your members carry?
All types. There's been some false reporting information in the news that we only had 22. For all your viewers, this is a 22. This is what you call an MP22, right? But this is an AR-15. A lot heavier firepower, 5.56 round. A lot of our soldiers carry whatever's comfortable for them. That's why they have to be legal gun owners, because most of them either purchase their own weapons or we instruct them in what weapons to get. But trust and believe, everything you can think of, we have.
What can Black Lives Matter change in the U.S.?
Nothing. Black Lives Matter hasn't changed anything in the U.S. In the last 5 years, which was another reason why NFAC had to step up. Because we're beginning to understand that we can't sing and chant and hold hands our way out of our oppression. And there are those of us that, though we support what Black Lives Matter stands for, because yes, it should stand for that, but at the same time, something needs to stand just for black people. That's it.
Very good. So, it might be the wording of it. I'm going to read it. What's going to happen if the police try to attack you?
Well, I mean, I really can't believe that as intelligent as your entire nation is, and I've seen some of your technological accomplishments, that you would actually have the audacity to ask me that question. We would do what any law-abiding citizen would do if attacked by any entity. We would defend ourselves at all costs, to the death if necessary.
Do you think it's possible to say that in America there's been a change of power?
Well, it depends on how you define power. I mean, power could be a political office that you hold and you're granted some powers because of a law that we all agreed on, or power could be the ability to mobilize people into military forces to confront the powers to be. So the definition of power, I would say that the power within the government to control the people has shifted in the last 3 or 4 years, whereas the people at first were depending on the powers to be to help us fix some things. What has happened is it's become painfully apparent in the fumbling of such things as the COVID-19, such things as the handling of how the police brutality situation can handle, and a few other things that the government really can't carry the ball this time. So folks are taking matters into their own hands, and some of us are actually reading the law to do it.
Tell us about yourself. What do you do? What's your profession?
I'd rather tell you that I am the leader of the NFAC, and our job is to protect our people, not to attack anyone. We're not anti-Semitic. We are not out. We don't hate anyone. We just love our people. Just because we love our people doesn't mean we hate you. If you threaten us, we're going to rise to the threat. But at the same time, we're a peaceful group. And what I do and what we all do is really irrelevant, except that we're all united in this cause to try to get some satisfaction that either we get what's owed to us by the U.S. government through conversation, not through battle, but through dialogue. But at the same time, be able to defend ourselves. That's our purpose. That's what I exist for, and that's the only thing that I'd like to say to answer that particular question.
Do you have a military background?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What did you serve in? What
I'm not going to go into detail about that.
Okay.
Those folks know how to find out that information if they want to.
Is there a chance that a member of Black Lives Matter or NFAC will become U.S. president in the future?
That's a rather interesting question. I ran for the presidency of the United States in 2016. A lot of folks have only recently found this out because for some strange reason, a lot of the independent candidates that actually were making inroads were somehow blacked out by the media. There's a train of movies. You can go back and watch that. As far as someone in the movement is the correct question. Ascending to the White House, unless they carry the agenda that the black movement has set forth, and there is an agenda, unless they're going to carry that into the White House, no one from any movement is going to ascend to the level of the presidency and then desert those folks. That's not going to happen. And I think at this point there are some discussions that are happening at street level where folks are talking about forming their own political parties. There's been I've had folks ask me would I consider running again, but I've gone in another direction. As you can see, I'm not very presidential right now. But at the end of the day, I still believe that if we continue to push forward, that we will probably attain an equilibrium where that agenda will be entertained by the government, and then they may have someone ascend to that level. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Next question was, do you want to run for president?
Do I want to run for president? I'll be honest. I had actually started to think about running in 2020 before everything started to deteriorate in the United States. And of course, you can see where I ended up. My frustration has turned into pure defense, militia of my race, because I feel I've been pushed back to that corner. Whereas when I ran for the presidency, I was going to be the president of all people. I truly believed that there was some balance there, and that we had arrived, and this was the time, the turning point. Little did I know the roller coaster would go off the rails, and now here we are in the bushes. So, would I run again in 2020? No, even though folks are saying they should write me in. But I had considered 2024. It's going to be a bloodbath for 2020. Everybody named Mama's in trying to it's like a battle royal, okay? So in this instance, I said, no, and I actually believe that a woman should be the president this particular time around. I was looking at who ran, and another reason why I said, no, this is the year of the woman. This is their season, okay? They're working on their rights, so why shouldn't one sit in the White House? So I fall back. I think there was some speculation at one point, but would you run with Michelle Obama? I said, sure, as her vice president, but I would not run as a woman needs to sit in the White House. But now after what we've been through, hell, anybody needs to sit in the White House, okay? The milkman can sit in the White House and do a better job. So I'm considering 2024, but a lot of that has been changed by recent events.
Understand. It's a good one. What do you think about Donald Trump?
My relationship with Mr. Trump is something that most people have not asked me about, but since you have asked, when I ran for the presidency in 2016, I identified Donald Trump immediately as a blatant racist. And anyone who goes back and does their YouTube research will show that I attended one of his rallies to witness it firsthand. Matter of fact, I was actually sat behind him. So when they show the NBC clip the next day, you see all of these white people waving Trump signs. There's this one black guy looking at him going, like, the hell's going on here? And, I challenged him to a racial debate, and I was supposed to meet him in Phoenix. But he went to Phoenix and he ran to Judge Arpaio's house, and everyone who's there remembers that. So I didn't get to confront him then. Then he gets sentenced to the presidency. And everything that I tried to tell everybody came true. There's an infamous picture of him and I together at the 9/11 memorial the day Hillary Clinton collapsed. All of the presidential candidates had to be there, so I'm there too. We're all running against each other. So we took a picture together, took a picture with a lot of people. So a lot White House and look at the country now. The country is in shambles right now. And it's racially torn. Now you've got blacks marching in the streets with guns. Come on, guys. Don't focus on the blacks with the guns. Focus on the situation that created the fact that the blacks had to get the guns after 60 years. So what do I think? I think that he needs to get out of power. I think that we need to start fresh. I think that we need to get back to where we were, and everyone has an agenda, and we all move forward. But this being at each other's throats, this is going to lead us somewhere that we really don't want to go.
Who are you planning on voting for in the upcoming elections?
There's nobody worth voting for in the upcoming election. And you have to remember, once you've gone through the presidential cycle once, you kind of get to know who all the players are. Looking at the field right now, no, there's nobody worth voting for. Here's why. Because none of them have the agenda in mind that I just told you about to help the black race in America. So I don't want to hear Obama, because Obama didn't do anything specifically for us. Okay, he did things that other people could piggyback on, but he did nothing for us. This guy isn't even thinking about us. So whoever I'm going to vote for is going to have the black agenda as part of their mantra of what they're going to do when they go to the White House. Otherwise, I'm cool. I can be independent. I'll vote for Mickey Mouse. I'll vote for myself. I'll vote for you. I don't know.
How do you like the new, this is the last question,
Yeah.
new presidential candidate, Kanye West?
I'm going to be very frank here. I don't know Kanye personally, but I ran for the presidency and I was not a politician. It was more so a baptism by fire in how much money, how many relationships you have to build, and how much you're willing to let someone mold your platform. In other words, you can go in and say, I'm going to change things. But by the time you go through the process, you're not changing anything. You're doing you're going to do what they tell you to do. And that's where I got off the train, because I could not be told what to do. I think that Kanye throwing his hat in for the presidency, he's going to find out what I found out. Nobody wins the presidency on the first run. Check history. Everybody who's run and won has run and lost once before. But that's when you learn how it actually works. Fame will not get you to the White House. A lot of money. Now, the fact that he's in bed with the Kardashians, maybe got some access to that money, I don't know. But when it comes to being knowledgeable on geopolitical issues, when it comes to being sensitive and having some idea of the industry, the military industry complex, by serving in the military, not reading about it, not playing a game on TV, but actually doing time and understanding how the military is used as a tool, not as an end result. And then understanding how world power is maintained. There's a book by Ian Brimmer called World Power. It's required reading for all presidential candidates, and it talks about the 3 models of running a country. If you haven't digested that book, if you don't think like that, you cannot sit in that chair and run this country. I don't have aspirations for the White House again. He can have a shot at it. I have something more ambitious in mind. Oh, you want me to keep going? I thought you had
No. That's the last question.
That is to bring into fruition the United States of Africa. A complete restructuring of the continent, not based on colonial borders, not based on current leadership, but a complete restructuring of the continent and turning it into independent states. And then, of course, forcing every country that's in Africa out of Africa. They can do business with Africa, but they will not occupy Africa anymore.
Do you have anything else that you want to add? Get on.
Well, other than that, if you're ever in the neighborhood and you want to pay the NFAC a visit, you can reach us at blacknfac.com. Feel free to drop us an email. We answer all questions. And if you're ever in the United States, please feel free to come out and see us the next time we have a formation, because there's one coming real soon. Been good talking to you. Thank you. Done?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Painless? See how easy that was? See how fast we got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these guys, it took us 10 minutes to do an hour and a half's work, okay?
Do you want to keep?
Yeah. All right, folks. So there you see it. Hit end. Just hit end.
I was.
Just hit end.